Good morning, Jogi ji.
Hello. Good morning. How are you?
Mr. Jogi, good morning. How are you? I am
I'm
fine.
also fine. Give me one moment. We will start, okay?
कपड़ा
Okay, so let us start our today's topic.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine.
Okay. So I am going to share my screen to all of you. Is that my screen visible to you?
Yes.
Okay. So our today's topic is related with the security. Security of AWS. So our today's topic name is security group and network access control list. So security group and network access control list. Both of the topics are related with the security. So security group and network access control list both works as a kind of firewall, as a packet filtering firewall, network packet filtering firewall. Okay. So the traffic, if what is the functionality of the firewall, the main function of the firewall? The main function of the firewall is to filter the traffic which is allowed in the rule, filter the traffic, filter the network traffic which is denied as per the rule. And the rule we are defining inside the security group, and we are defining the rule in the network access control list also. I will tell you one by one both of the components, security group as well as the network access control list. What is the difference? So both are the different components. Security group is also different component, network access control list is also different component, but network security group works on the subnet level and the security group works on the EC2 level. I will tell you how. But first, it is very, very important to understand how it works. Okay. Let's say I have this EC2 instance. EC2 instance. And this EC2 instance definitely will have the NIC card. Okay. This EC2 instance will have NIC card. Just like a normal computer in your physical environment, the normal computer want to communicate with the other computers in the local area network or other network, the computer must have the NIC card or the network interface or the LAN card must be connected with the computer. And the LAN card or NIC card contain the IP address. Otherwise, where we will assign the IP address? Whatever the IP address we assign, the IP address goes to the NIC card of the computer. NIC card which is associated with the computer. So let's say this is the NIC card of this EC2 instance and the IP address. Okay, NIC card is associated with this EC2 instance. So in this EC2 instance, and the network security group is associated with the EC2 instance. Means security group, SG. Right? In short, I am typing as SG. So SG will provide you the DMZ environment, DMZ, demilitarized zone. Guys, you heard about the DMZ? Hello?
No.
DMZ and parameter network means it's a kind of DMZ. Okay, DMZ understand like that. It's a kind of army kind of environment. If you want to go inside the country, borders kind of border. DMZ is a kind of border environment where the security is required. Security forces are required. Right. So security group works at the entrance of the EC2, and the security group is associated with the NIC. Let's say we have this computer, and this computer is using by me. This is my laptop, and this laptop is out of the cloud. Okay. And this is internet connection. Through this laptop, I will try to connect with this EC2 instance. I will try to connect with this EC2 instance, and this EC2 instance is located inside the cloud environment. So in the security group, there are two types of rules. There are two types of rules. Rules will check what kind of traffic, what kind of traffic should be allowed, what kind of traffic should be denied. So two types of rules are, one is the inbound security group rule. Second one is the outbound rule. One is the inbound rule, second one is the outbound rule. So if I'm trying to connect with the EC2 instance through the RDP connection, right? If I want to take the remote desktop connection through the RDP, and this EC2 instance, if it is a Windows server, then inside the inbound rule, your RDP must be allowed. There must be an allow entry of the RDP. Okay. So if the traffic is coming from the outside, if traffic means if we are trying to connect from my laptop to this EC2 instance for getting the remote access of the Windows server, then it will hit the security group first. And the security group, in the security group, the checking will be happen just like a security room, just like a check post, right? If the traffic is coming in the normal on the normal road, highway, the traffic is going and coming. In between, the barriers and the checkpost will be there. Just like that, think like that, it's exactly like that. So there's an inbound rule is there. In the inbound rule, it will check whether the RDP allow entry present or not. If the RDP allow entry will be present, then the traffic is coming from behind, it will go through and it will connect to the EC2 instance. It will connect to the EC2 instance. And the EC2 instance, the request will reach at the EC2 instance because the system will find the RDP allow entry here. The traffic is coming from the computer, from the external environment. The rule checking will be happen. If the RDP will be allowed, then the incoming request will go and connect to the will reach at the EC2 instance. If RDP allow entry is not present, then whatever the incoming traffic is coming from the outside, from my local computer, and try to connect to the EC2, it will get rejected from here if there is no allow entry. If there is no allowed entry. If there is an allow entry present for the RDP, then it will found the RDP is allowed. Then incoming request will be forwarded towards the EC2 instance, and the EC2 instance will give the response, and the response will goes to the client computer, which is located outside of the cloud, and the connection will be established. Connection will get established, and we will get the remote desktop connection on our computer screen. Okay. on our computer screen. So connection will be considered to be a connection. We can say it's a connected when the response, when incoming should be established from the client computer to the server computer, and the response will reach up to the from the server computer to the client computer. It's a two-way process. The request will become and reach at the server, and the response will go from server and reach at the client. When this two-way process will be complete, then we will say the connection is successfully established, and your RDP screen, the server screen, will be appear as an RDP connection on your computer screen. Guys, you are getting clear at this point? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Let's say we have one more computer, one more EC2 instance, and this EC2 instance having the operating system which is Linux. Linux operating system is running inside the another EC2 instance. So if I will try to take the SSH access of the Linux server EC2 instance from my computer, from my local computer, then the request will go through the internet. Okay, then the request will go through the internet, and it will hit the DMZ environment. DMZ means border. It's a kind of border. You know, in between the Pakistan and India, there is a border is there, and the paramilitary forces are there, right? Paramilitary forces are there. They are checking the identity of the people, the identity of the person. If the person is going crossing the India border, want to go into the Pakistan, they will check whether he is allowed or not allowed. So it's a kind DMZ environment is like this, right? It's for the security purpose. So if the incoming traffic is coming from my laptop, it will first hit the DMZ environment, means SG security group. In the security group, if the rule SSH rule allow rule is already created, it's present, then the traffic will further allowed to reach at the EC2 instance. And the EC2 instance, as on the basis of the request, incoming request coming from the cloud, from the external computer, will have to give the response, and the response will be reach towards the computer of the towards the local computer that I am using from the outside of the cloud. When the request SSH request is coming from my computer, it will reach at the Linux computer, Linux server. This is the one side, and second side, from the Linux server, the response will generate, and the response will reach at my computer. When the request and the response, both the sides will be completed, then we can say the connection is established. And the SSH, your external computer will get the SSH connection successfully. Okay, then we can say, consider that the connection will be established. Okay, so security group. Okay, if from my computer, my external computer, I want to access the website of which is running inside the EC2. Let's say This is the website. And this website is running or hosted inside this EC2 instance. Then inside this EC2 instance, I want to, from inside this EC2 instance, the website is running, and this website I want to run externally from my computer browser. Then how the request will be go, how the rule checking will be happen. So let's say the request is coming from my computer and want to access the website which is already running inside the EC2 instance of the Windows server. Then here the SSH entry, sorry, HTTP entry and the HTTPS entry, HTTP and HTTPS entry must be allowed here. HTTP, HTTPS entry must be allowed. Then incoming request which is coming from the external computer and want to reach at the web server, then if it is found allowed, then the request will be allowed to forward towards the web server, and the web server as the request on the request of the request, incoming request which is coming from the client will have to give the response towards the client computer, and the website will be open. So how important this is? This is very, very important. Security group is very, very important. We must have the knowledge of how to apply the rule. Okay. So let's do some practical that will help us to easy understand, and will make the foundation much very clear. So let's go to the portal. Now we are already inside the portal, and we will go inside the EC2 service. Okay. So inside this EC2 service, at the left hand side, you will find one component called as security group. Under the network and security, you will find security groups. So you have to click on security groups. So by default, there is one security group. This is a default security group. This is not created by you. This is a default one. And we are going to create one security group. So click on create security group. And the name of the security group I will assign demo SG, demo SG, demo SG. So the same security group and the description name I will copy. So VPC is the default VPC. You can choose the VPC here as per your choice. If you have created your VPC like VPC A, VPC B, VPC C, VPC D, you can apply the security group. You can associate the security group with that particular desired VPC also. But I have only one VPC, which is the default VPC. So I will continue with the default VPC only. So click on. So right now I will not add the rule. I will not add the inbound rule. I will not add the outbound rule also. By default, in the inbound rule, there is nothing allowed. You can see there is no rule here. The security group has no inbound rules. There is nothing. It's completely empty. And in the outbound rule, all the traffic is allowed. Inbound rule will check the traffic which is incoming traffic from the outside, and outbound rule will check the outbound traffic which is coming from the EC2 which is going from the EC2 instance towards the internet. That will be the outbound traffic, right? So incoming, outgoing, incoming traffic, outgoing traffic. So by default, in the outgoing traffic, everything is allowed. all the kinds of traffic will be allowed. SSH will be allowed, RDP will be allowed, everything will be allowed. So now we will click on create security group. After creating the security group, further during the learning time period, we will, for the testing purpose, we will add the inbound rules also. So you can see here, security group has been created successfully with the name demo SG. Okay, demo SG. So I will open the another tab. I will create one of the EC2 instance. So I have to click on EC2 service because EC2 instance we have to create inside the EC2 service. So instances running are 0. So click on instances running and click on launch instances. Now we will try to create one of the EC2 instance. So I will select the image 1 for the test. Click on select. In the step number 2, I will leave everything as default. Next. So here inside the network, default VPC is there, everything is default, and I can choose leave everything as it is by default. Now click on next. In the step number 4, add storage, leave everything by default. In the step number 5, you can give the name of the server. I'm giving here a name of the server as demo server 1. Demo server 1. I will click on next. So here it should be the main focus point because our topic is concerned with the security group. Okay. So here you have two options. The first option, it is asking you to create a new security group, right? If you want to create a new security group at the moment, right now here, you can create a new security group. If you don't want to create a new security group, you want to associate the existing security group that you have created previously, you can choose the second option, select an existing security group. Now you can clearly see here, the security group just now we had created before with the name demo SG, it is visible here. So instead of creating the new security group, I will use the existing security group that I have used previously. So I will select this option. I will check mark this option to associate the demo SG and click on review and launch. So okay, now click on continue. So I associated the security group that I had created just now before. Now I will click on launch and keypair file is not here. So I will create the new keypair file, create a new keypair file, and the keypair file name I will assign here, demo SG, demo SG. Click on download keypair. So this keypair file will get download in my local computer. I will scroll down. Now I have to click on launch instances. I will scroll down more, click on view instances. So now you can see a new EC2 instance with the name demo server 1 is in the progress of creation. So let's see in how many moments it will take to create or complete this EC2 instance in which operating system Linux is going to be installed. So guys, this security group is a kind of firewall which will check the traffic, allowed traffic, incoming traffic. On the, it works on the security group level. And further, next, in the today's same session, we will discuss about the NACL. NACL stands for Network Access Control List, which works on the complete subnet level. That also will check the traffic, incoming traffic, what should be allowed, what should be denied. In the security group, we cannot deny, the deny option is not available. But in the NACL, deny and allow, both of the options are available. So security group works on the EC2 level, EC2 instance level, and the network access control list works on the complete subnet level. Within a one subnet, we can have the 1 EC2 instance, we can have the 2 EC2 instance, we can have the 3 EC2 instance, we can have the 4 EC2 instance. If we denied the SSH traffic at the subnet level, means on the inside the NACL, then all of the EC2 instances within the same subnet will be denied to provide the SSH access to outside, to the external environment, because we applied the NACL, we apply on the subnet level, not only on the each EC2 instance level. So let's see what is the status of this demo server 1. It is still initializing, no problem, we can wait. Now you can clearly see here status has been changed. Now the new status is a 2x2 checks passed. Now we are ready to use this EC2 instance. So we can click on instance ID. We can copy the public IP version 4 of this EC2 instance, and we'll try to take the access. So instead of the putty, you can use the this your local CMD prompt also. So putty is also another method, and this is also another method that I'm going to show you. So you don't require to convert your PEM format into the PPK format if you are using this second method that I'm using currently right now. So I am sure that this file is downloaded demo.sg.pem inside the download folder of my computer. So what I have to do, I have to go inside the download folder in which the PM file has been already downloaded. So CD downloads. So now we are inside the downloads folder. Okay, now we are inside the downloads folder. So we will type SSH EC2 -user @ and the public IP address just now we had copied, and space -i, then again space, then what next? So we need to enter the name of the PM format file, so which is with the name demo.sg.pem. So I will exactly type the same name, space demo.sg.pem. Right now let's press enter. The connection will not be established because in the inbound port rule of the security group, we have not done the allow entry of the SSH. It will be timeout after some moment. Yes, now you can see it is timeout. So now we will change something. We'll add the entry of the SSH inside the security group. So now we'll go inside the security group. So we will select the demo SG in which we want to change the entry. We need to do the allow entry of the SSH. So we already selected this one. Click on action, click on edit inbound rule. Click on add rule. So inbound rule, it's completely empty. There is no rule added. So now click on add rule. And what we want to add? We want to add SSH. So select SSH. And here select anywhere. Anywhere means you want to allow all the networks from anywhere the people can access this SSH, can use this, can access this EC2 instance from anywhere. So click on Save Rules. Now we will try to make a connection again from my local computer. Now you can see connection is reached. The connection is reached at the EC2 instance because we did the allow entry. So it is asking the confirmation by typing yes, we will give the confirmation. Got it? Connection is established. Okay. So this is the way. This is the way how we can use the SSH rule. Means how we can use the security group. This is the benefit of the security group. Okay. Now the same security group I can use for the multiple EC2 instances, right? It is not like that if I will create 2 EC2 instances, 3 EC2 instances, 4 EC2 instances, I have to create the every time I will create the separate security group. The same security group I can connect with the multiple EC2 instances. So I will create one more EC2 instance with the name demo server 2, and I will create the same security group with the demo server 2 EC2 instance also. And the demo server 2 EC2 instance, I will create a web server also. Okay. So click on launch instances. Click on select. Click on next. Click on here. We are inside the network portion. And there is a script. The script means the set of the command that I will copy and paste inside this user data. And it will automatically install the web service Apache role inside this server. And it will automatically associate the website also. So, okay. So where I will share with you that set of the commands in the chat window, or maybe I will share with you in the chat window. Okay. Guys, please mute your mic. Your background noise is also going to be recorded. So this is a script. So I will copy the script and I will paste inside this window. Right? And the website will be created with the name index.html, and the web page will should display the message, this is web server 01. Now click on next. Next. And the security group tag, I will tag the name of the server. And the server name will be here demo-server2, demo-server2. Now click on next. So here, step number 6, here we need to define the security group. Two options, we can either create a new security group or we can use the existing security group. So security group we have already created, and the same security group we already associated with the previous EC2 instance, the first EC2 instance. So now I don't want to create the second or external, means another one more security group. I want to use the same security group because I want to apply the same set of the rules with this EC2 instance also. I don't want to change anything here. So select an existing security group, and here you'll find the options. 1 second. Yes. So this is the security group demo SG. So I will select the demo SG. Now click on review and launch. So if I am selecting the demo SG, you can see what rule is allowed. SSH TCP 22, this is the rule. So now click on review and launch. Click on launch. So this time I will not create an key pair file. I will use the existing key pair file, which is with the name demo SG. Give your acknowledgement by clicking on the message. I acknowledge that I have access to the selected private key file demosg.pem. Now click on launch instances. Scroll down and click on view instances. Now the second EC2 instance will be also in the process of creation. And we will try with the demo server 2 whether this demo server 2 will be able to access the SSH or not. Will be able to take the SSH of the demo server 2 or not.
Sir, Abhinav this side.
Yes, Abhinav.
Sir, I have one question that during creating the security group, we choose VPC.
Yes.
So while creating the instances, we have to
Yes.
choose the same VPC only, or we can choose different VPC also.
We can choose the different VPC also. We can choose the same VPC also. Both
So
the
what is the purpose
Hmm?
of choosing the VPC on that particular security group?
What is the
Purpose
purpose of choosing the security group?
on that particular, no, not security
Same
group,
security group.
VPC.
Same security group. Huh?
So what is the
V-
purpose to select the VPC on that
VPC.
particular, VPC on that particular security group while
Okay.
creating the security group?
VPC means the VPC is the network boundary. If you want, because your computer, your machine, your EC2 instance will get the IP address from the VPC network range.
Correct.
Right? VPC network range. It will be 20, it can be the 20 range, it can be 30 range, right?
Correct.
That is the importance there.
Right. But while creating the security group, now we choose the VPC.
Hmm.
So what is the purpose over there if we choose different VPC during the EC2 instance? So what is the purpose over there to choose the VPC on that
Because
particular security group?
listen to me. Security group, where we apply the security group. Security group we apply. Security group is associated with the NIC card, right?
Okay.
NIC card. So security group is connected with the NIC card.
Okay.
And private IP address, where it is assigned? Inside the NIC card.
Correct.
Got it?
Yeah.
So the security group will work only for that VPC, not for the other VPC, because we want to assign, we want that security group will work only for that network only, that VPC only.
So suppose if we choose some another VPC during creating of the EC2 instance, that security group will not work.
Because it will be out of the VPC, because at the time of the creation of the VPC, we already associated with the one VPC. It will work for that VPC. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's see the status of demo server 2. It is also created. Now click over the instance ID of demo server 2 and type CMD. And this demo server 2 this time will provide the access, because we are using the existing security group. In the existing security group, now this time we already access the allow entry of the SSH. So downloads SSH EC2-user and @ So what is the IP address? This is the IP address. Just copy this IP address and paste the IP address here. hyphen I. And what is the key pair file? The key pair file is demo.sg.pem. Enter. So you can see here the connection is ready. Just type yes. You got the successful connectivity. You can get the successful SSH connection with the server, and the server made a connection. So connection has been established in between the server and the client computer, right? Okay. So now the second server, demo server 2 is my web server also, right? Demo server 2 is my web server also, because I installed the web service role Apache, and I created one website inside the demo server 2 during the time of creation of the demo server 2. Now I want to verify whether I will be able to access the website which is hosted inside the demo server 2 or not. So I will test it. I will click copy the public IP address here. I will paste the public IP address on the browser window, and we will see the website will not be open here. The website will not be open here. The reason is very much clear. The reason is that I have not added the security group. I have not added the HTTP rule or the HTTPS rule, allow rule entry inside the security group. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. So what I will do, I will go inside the security group. I will select my security group that is associated with both of the EC2 instances. I will click on actions. I will click on edit inbound rules. I will scroll down. So you can see only one type of entry is added, SSH. You can see two entries are there, but I did only one entry, right? I added only the one SSH entry, but it is showing the two entries. Why it is like this? The reason is that the first entry integrates the incoming traffic if the client computer is using the IP version 4 address, and the second entry of the SSH indicates that if the client computer is using the IPv6 address, IP version 6 address, right? That's why if the client computer is using the IP version 4 address, then still it will be permitted. If the client computer is using the IP version 6 address, then still it should be permitted. That's why two entries are here. Once you will do the entry, automatically it will create the two entries. It will be converted into the two entries. One for the IP version 4, second one is the IP version 6. Now our requirement is to add the HTTP. So now I will search HTTP. You can filter the HTTP like this way in the filter option. Click on HTTP. I can add the HTTPS also. Maybe it is a secured connection. So click over the HTTPS. So now both the entries are added, HTTP and the HTTPS. I will allow anywhere. I will allow anywhere. All right. If in case I want to allow the incoming traffic only from this network, let's say 172.0.0.0. If I want to allow the traffic from this network only, if the computer, if anybody is using got an IP address from this public network, then it should be allowed, right? If anybody is using the traffic out of this network, for example 10.0.0, 20.0.0 or XYZ any, then the traffic should not be allowed. That also we can define it like that. If I want the traffic, if the incoming request is coming from this IP address, then only the connection will be given. If the request is coming from any other IP address or any other network, any other IP address, then the request will not be entertained. So that also we can mention here, just for the knowledge purpose. But I will take everything here, 000. Sorry, not here. We need to define here. Sorry, instead of writing here, we need to define here. Right. So I have chosen everywhere here. Here I need to mention it here. If I want to allow the traffic from this network only, apart from this network, apart from the 172.0.0.0 network, if anybody, any other computer is trying to access, but that computer's IP address does not belong to this network, then the incoming traffic, incoming request will be rejected. If the request is coming from the computer and that computer's IP address falls in this network range, then the incoming request will be entertained or successful. So I am, for the time being, I am using here anywhere. So HTTP is also allowed and HTTP is also allowed. Now I will go down, I will click on save rules. So before that, I was not allowed to get the access of the website. So now this time I will try to access the website, and the website is running where? Inside the demo server 2. Now I will refresh it. You can see I got the access of the website because in the security group rule, I did the allow entry of the HTTP. That's why the connection I got it now. Clear, guys? Hello.
Jogging is Vinod here.
Yes, Vinod.
Hello.
Yes, Vinod.
While creating that security group, you have added that command, right, to display this website.
Mm-hmm. You want?
Can you explain that command, how it works and everything?
Yes, these are the Linux commands. I will explain you.
Yes. Okay.
One moment, please. So these are the command. The first command will open the bash shell of the Linux. And second, the first command will activate the bash shell of the Linux. Shell, if in a very simple language, what is shell? What is the definition of the shell? If you'll understand, shell is an interface where we will type the commands. Any interface where we type the command is called a shell. For example, CMD shell. If you'll open the CMD big black screen will be open. It is also a shell, right? If you will open the PowerShell, a PowerShell big screen, blue color screen will be open. It is also a shell where we will type the commands. So in the Linux, like the same way, the interface screen we are calling as bash. So second command, yum update y. If any software you want to install in the Linux, you have to use the yum command. So by using the yum command, it will update all the patches which is required for your Linux server. Second command. Third command, yum install httpd-y. So the third command, it will install the Apache server. HTTPD represent the Apache server. You know, if you remember, in the Windows Server 2019, Windows Server 2016, Windows Server 2012, the service role is there IIS, Internet Information Service. So IIS, when you will install in the Windows Server, your computer will work as a web server. So like the same way, because the Linux is a different platform, Windows is a different platform, the services name will be different here. So here the service name we are calling as Apache. So here in the Linux operating system, Linux platform, majority of the things we'll do by typing the commands only, because Linux operating systems is a command-based operating system. So by typing the yum install HTTPD will install the Apache service role inside your computer. And -y means you are giving the approval yes. Service HTTPD start. So this command will start your Apache service role. It is the third command. It will install it, but it is not started. The fourth command, service httpd start. The fourth command will start the service, Apache service. Fifth command, chk config httpd on. It is started, but fifth service, it will on the service further. And the sixth command, cd var www html. So html is the default directory, will be created when you will install the Apache service role. So wherever you will be currently inside the Linux server, the cd command will change the directory and change the directory into the new directory with we are calling it HTML. Now inside the HTML, the last command echo HTML h1, this is web server 01, h1 will be closed, HTML will be closed, and the file will be created with the name index.html. So last command is creating the website with the name index.html, and inside this command, inside this file, this is web server 01. This message will get displayed on the screen whenever you will access the website from the outside. Okay, clear, Vinod? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I will copy, and you can copy in your computer's notepad window, and you can save it permanently. So guys, now let's take a short break. We'll take the break for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes break, we will continue for the security group. Hello.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes.
So we understood about that. We understood about the security group, and we tested also. We created the security group and tested also with the HTTP with the SSH. Okay. So now we will try with the outbound rule. Right? We will try with the outbound rule. So let's create one more virtual machine, EC2 instance, for the testing purpose. So click over the instances. Click on launch instances. And I will select the instance of the Windows Server 2019, that means image of the Windows Server 2019. Leave everything as default in the step number 2. Step number 3, leave everything as default. So click on next. Step number 4, leave everything as it is default. And I will tag the name of the new server as demo Windows Server 1. Demo Windows Server 1. Click on next. And here, instead of using the instead of creating the new security group, I can use the existing security group. And the existing security group, I will get the 2 security group. So demo SG, the same security group I will use. And you can see here, HTTP is allowed here. HTTP entry is here. SSH entry is there. HTTPS entry is here. But the RDP entry is not present here. So click on review and launch. Click on launch. So I will choose an existing kpair file instead of creating the new one. Click on launch instances. Scroll down and click on view instances. So third EC2 instance will be also in the process of creation, but the platform will be Windows. Okay. So there is one more important thing I will discuss with you. There are 2 types of firewall. There are 2 types of firewall. If the generally we will say, talk about the types of firewall. There are two types of firewall. First type of firewall we are calling as stateful firewall. Second type we will say stateless firewall. Guys, you heard about the concept of stateful and the stateless? Hello? This concept is very important in the IT. Have you heard about this concept? This stateful and the stateless? Hello?
No, sir.
No. Okay.
No, no, not yet.
Okay. So stateless and stateful. The stateful firewall, in the case of the stateful firewall, let's say this is a stateful firewall. Stateful firewall. So you know very well, firewall filters the two-way traffic. One is the incoming traffic, and second one is the outgoing traffic. Two-way traffic, incoming and outgoing. So for filtering the incoming traffic, we need to we use the inbound security rules. For filtering the outbound traffic which is going outside from my computer, from my EC2 instance, we create outbound security rule. Okay, outbound security rule. Two rules we require. Two rules the stateful firewall means every firewall will filter. One is the inbound rule and outbound rule. If in the inbound rule, okay, let's say this is my local computer, which is outside of the environment of the company. This is my local computer. So from this local computer, I am trying to take the SSH of the server, which is this side of the firewall, Let's say this is the server, and this server is located inside the on-premises environment of the company. This is it will be the Linux server. And this server is located inside of the company, and the firewall is the mediator. It's kind of army. The duty of this firewall is to check every traffic which is coming from outside to inside, incoming traffic, and firewall have to check what is going outside. It's a like of gatekeeper, right? So you know, in the factories, in the companies, what the watchman or the security guard, what they do, right? If the incoming people, the people are coming inside, they will ask where you want to go. They will okay. Then you will tell the person will tell, I want to meet with the HR. Hold on, stay here. First, I will check the entry. Your entry is available in my register or not. Allow entry is available in my register. If the allow entry or that visitor that want to meet the HR On the special instruction of the HR, the register of the security person, if the allow entry is available, then he will say, okay, yes, sir, you are allowed because your entry is available. This was about the incoming. Like the same way outside, the person is going out of the company after the duty hours, right? After the duty hours, and then also the security guard will check. Maybe the person did not steal anything, something precious from the company, and he will go outside. Then also the security will be checked, right? Like the same way, there is a stateful firewall. So stateful firewall, okay, if the traffic is incoming traffic want to go inside the company and want to connect with the server. So mediator will be the stateful firewall. The firewall, it can be the stateful firewall, it can be the stateless firewall. If it is a stateless firewall, the traffic will go inside, it will check the entry which should be available. Right. So SSH allow entry must be available here in the inbound rule. Okay. SSH allow entry will be available. So when the guys focus this point is very, very critical and important to understand. Right. If you will understand this point, then everywhere you will understand the basic and important funda of the firewall. So if the traffic is coming from my local computer, I want to connect the server, and the server is located inside the company. Then the request will goes to the firewall, and the firewall will check SSH entry is available or not. SSH allow entry is available or not. If the SSH allow entry will be available, then the request which is incoming from the outside will go and will reach at the server. And the server will give the response. And the connection will be established. Right? Then the connection will be established. Connection will be, remember guys, connection will be always considered as completed connection, successful completed connection. When the request will also reach from the incoming request which is coming from the user, and it will reach finally at the server. If the server will also give the response, and the response also will be connected towards the user computer who requested. It's it when the two-way connection will be established from the client computer to the server computer, and from the server computer to the client computer, then we will say it is a then we can say only the connection has been established successfully. Otherwise, if the user is sending the request, incoming request is coming to the server, and the request will reach at the server. If the server didn't give any response towards the client computer, then only the half of the connection is established. The full two-way connection has not established. Then we can say the connection is incomplete. Right? So two-way connection must be successful. Then we can say the connection is fully established. Okay. So now, if the request is coming from the end user, it will hit the firewall, and the firewall will check the allow entries available. The request will finally reach at the server, and the server will give the response, and the connection will be considered as successfully established. Connection is successful. Okay. Spelling is wrong. We can say simply established. Now, why we are calling as stateful firewall? Stateful firewall, we define the allow entry at the inbound port only, but we have not did any entry at the outbound port. So connection is incoming request is coming. It will found the allow entry. Then automatically the system will understand the outbound entry is already done, and the response will directly goes through the internet and reach at the local computer. Means stateful firewall, where we will do the entry at the one site. If we have done the entry at the inbound port, allow entry at the inbound port, then at the outbound port, automatically it is understood as we have done. It is already understood, it is done. And the server will give the response. But in the case of the stateless firewall, we have to, the entry must be present in the inbound rule also. The entry must be present in the outbound rule also. If the outbound rule, in the case of the stateless firewall, if in the outbound rule the entry is not present, then you will not get the connection. The end user will not get the connection. In the case of the stateless firewall, the checking will be happen in both of the sides. At the inbound rule, when the traffic is incoming, and the second side when the response is going from the server to the end user. Guys, you're getting my point? Hello? Stateless and the stateful?
Yeah, how to identify it is stateful or stateless scenario?
In the case of our AWS scenario, the security group is a stateful, and the network security group is a stateless, right? Stateless. We will do the entry, right? But in the physical firewall, hello, in the case of the physical firewall, the company use in the company, so it will be written in the manual specification. Like the way when you will buy a new television online, so first of all, on the Flipkart, you will check what is the manual specification, what are the features of this product that you are going to buy online. When you agree each and every feature is according to your taste, according to your requirement, then only you will place the order. So when you will see, when you are buying the firewall, in the physical firewall, in the physical environment, then it will be a part of the manual specification. It will be written or mentioned whether this firewall is a stateless firewall or it is a stateful firewall, right? Okay. If it is a stateful firewall, if it is written in the manual specification, then you will add on, you have to do the entry as a stateful basis. If at the time of the purchase of the physical purchase of the firewall, if it is a stateless firewall, then you have to configure the firewall at the time of the configuration as a stateless entry basis. Okay, clear? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. So security group is always a stateless, a stateful, act as a stateful, and the network security group is always act as a stateless. So that's why I did the entry in the inbound rule. I have not done the entry in the outbound rule because it is a stateful. In the inbound rule, I have done the SSH entry of the security group, but not done in the outbound. I have done the entry in the inbound rule, then as a feature of the stateful, it will automatically consider that the entry is already done in the outbound, and the response will be go through and reach at the client computer, and the connection will fully establish. Okay, so now I want to, okay, let's see what is the situation of the Windows server. Let's refresh it. And you can see Windows server is ready to use. So demo Windows Server 1 is there, instance ID is there. I will click over the instance ID. I will copy the public IP address of this Windows server. I will take the remote access RDP. I will paste the public IP address. I will click on connect. It will not establish the connection. Guys, guess what is the reason? What could be the possible reason why I'm not able to connect?
RDP is not there.
RDP is not there, right? RDP is not there. So we will go inside the security group, which is acting as a firewall. In the inbound port rule, we will add the RDP entry. You can see HTTP is there, SSH is there, HTTPS is there, but there is no entry of the RDP. So click on add rule and we will filter RDP. So select the RDP and select anywhere. Click on save rules. So this time we did the entry of the RDP. So now let's try to make a connection from my external computer. Click on connect. Connection established. Now type the username administrator and enter the password. Password, yes. From here I will get the password. Click on connect. RDP client. Get password. Browse the demo.sg key pair file, which is located inside the downloads folder. So on the top there is demo.sg.pem. Click on open. Scroll down. So private key is generated. So decrypt this private key so the password will be visible. So just copy this password and paste the password here. Click on OK. Click on yes. Okay, so we can see here, if you'll go to run and type CMD, and now let us see whether my outgoing traffic, if I am pinging, if I am typing the command ping and typing the www.google.com means google.com space -t, my request from the EC2 instance is going towards the Google server. So what this traffic we call as, is it an incoming traffic or it is an outgoing traffic? Yes, guys.
Outgoing.
It is an outgoing traffic, right? Because from my EC2 instance as a source, the traffic is going outside. Traffic is going outside and trying to connect with the Google server. So that's why we are calling this traffic as an outbound traffic. Okay, so traffic is going now. Perfect. You are getting the ping reply, the traffic is going. Okay, the traffic is going outside, no problem. Why the traffic is going? I will tell you the reason. We are able to ping with the Google, right? So this is the demo.sg. So inside this outbound rule, if we'll click on the outbound rule of this demo.sg, just now we have created, we are using as a firewall, click on outbound rules. And we will see here, all traffic is allowed. All traffic is allowed. So that's why I will be able to ping with the, I will be able to ping with the Google. So outgoing traffic is perfectly working fine. Okay. So now I will play with these things. I will click on the edit outbound rule. Instead of allowing everything, instead of allowing everything, all the traffic, instead of allowing all the traffic, I will delete this traffic. I don't want to allow everything. I want to do the control on the outbound also. What I want, only that thing should be allowed to go outside. What I don't want, it will not go allowed to outside. I want only the HTTPS request will go outside. So HTTPS I will allow. And I will add rule. But except the HTTPS, nothing should be allowed. So save rules. Okay. Here, I will select anywhere. And I will click on save rules. And other thing I want to allow HTTP also. Select anywhere. It can go to the any, it will connect, it can connect to the any server, it can connect to the Google, it can connect to the Facebook, it can connect to the Yahoo, it can connect any XYZ server outside. So that's why anywhere is here. So outbound traffic can go anywhere from the HTTP. So click on save rules. Let's go to the server. This is the Windows server. What you can see here, the connection. Okay, it will take some time, moment. Again, it will reestablish.
I think we need to allow RDP also.
Wait. Yes. Now you can see connection is established, but connection is established. So if you will try to open, what is the change we have done with this server outbound. So HTTPS we allowed also, HTTP also we allowed here, right? Okay. So if we will remove the edit in the outbound rule, delete this one, and delete this one, and save. And let's see. What you can see, request is timeout. The request is timeout. Because in the outbound rule, we denied everything. Nothing should be go outside. Right? Nothing should be go outside. So ping communication is failed. Now,
Sir,
we will
open the RDP then?
RDP inbound traffic I allowed, right? Inbound
Right.
traffic I allowed. That's why RDP we got it. Because I told you that RDP means security group is a what we can stateful firewall, act as a stateful firewall. Whatever we have defined in the inbound rule, in the outbound it automatically get applied. So RDP in the outbound also got applied automatically. So that's why it is not affecting the RDP. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So you can see in the outbound rule, I have not allowed anything. So that's why connection is established, right? So that's why there is no communication with the external servers like the Google, like the Yahoo. There is no server. There is no connection has been established, right? So now I will just allow the ping. Ping means the ICMP. So I will go inside the demo SG, outbound rule, and I will edit some changes. Edit outbound rule. Add outbound rule. And if you want to test the ping communication, which protocol guys use? Just guess it. Hello?
ICMP.
ICMP, right? So we have to allow the ICMP. So here we will select all ICMP IP version 4, add all ICMP IP version 6, because the request which is going towards the Yahoo server, maybe it is using the maybe it is using the IP version 4, maybe it is using the IP version 6 also. In both of the cases, we will be ready. All ICMP IP version 6 also. So here, anywhere. Now click on Save Changes. The changes are saved. Now let us see on the let us see the result. Perfect. We got the connection. The connection has been established. Let's try with the Facebook. So Facebook is also pinging, means reachable, right? Now I have the web browser. I will try to access the website. So this Internet Explorer is not a nice web browser, because again and again it asks the security checks. So I will, if it will not give us any problem during the testing purpose, so I will disable the enhanced security configuration. This is not a part of this rule, just for the comfortness of the browser window. That's I am doing here. If you have the Chrome, then you have no need to do this thing, because I don't have the Chrome inside the EC2 instance, so that's why I am doing this one. Okay, so I will open the Internet Explorer web browser. So inside the Internet Explorer web browser, I will type google.com. Let's see the Google will be open or not. You can see here the Google is not opening. The Google is not opening. My request, Google website is not showing on the screen. But you can see here, if I will ping to the ping will be successful. See, here the ping is successful. My computer is reachable to the Google, but here the website is not opening, because the reason is that in the outbound port, I allowed the ICMP. I allowed the ICMP. That's why the ping is successful. But I did not allow the HTTPS. That's why website is not opening. So now I will allow the HTTPS. So I will click on the actions. I will click on the edit outbound rule. And I will, as an outbound rule, I will add HTTPS. Anywhere, click on Save Changes. Now this time, I will try. Google.com. Let's open I will close this web browser, okay? And let's try to do here with the HTTP also. So HTTPS is allowed. Now let's try to allow the HTTP also. Now click on save rules. Oh, so what I have to do? Let's cancel it and do it again. Save. So now we have saved it, and let's open the web browser. Perfect. Google is working fine. So this is the way how the security group work, how we can control our environment, right? By using this way, how we can control what traffic should be allowed, what traffic should be denied, what traffic should not be allowed, what traffic should be go outside, what traffic should not be go outside. We can control over like this. Okay. So clear, guys? Hello.
So I have one doubt.
Yes.
In
is the doubt?
inbound rules, we already allow the HTTPS connections. So as you say, it's a stateful. Then why it is not allowed in the outbound rule? We are not able to browse it.
In the inbound rule, in the inbound rule we allowed. Then it is for the incoming people, the people who are accessing from the outside through the HTTPS. Suppose my website is hosted inside the server. If my website, which is already hosted inside the EC2 server, in the web server, and the people who are trying to access the hosted website from the outside, so inbound rule HTTPS work for them people, for that people also, not for the outside.
Okay. So
Got
in
it?
case of RDP, why it allowed both sides?
In the case of the RDP,
Yeah.
let's see. Let's see in the outbound port rules. Where is RDP?
So
there
that
is no
is
RDP.
so that is so suppose if we want to take any RDP from the server, from inside the server to another server, it will not.
I have to allow the RDP here then. If from this server, I want to take the RDP of the another server, then I have to add the rule of the RDP here in that case. Okay.
And same for the SSH only. Also.
Same for the SSH also. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So this was about the security group. Okay. So now we will do the same thing. We'll try to understand the same thing on the base with the help of for the network access control list also, NACL. So as I given you the concept of two types of firewall. Number one is a stateful firewall. Number second is the stateless firewall. Right. So security group works as a stateful firewall, and the network access control list works as a stateless firewall. Stateless firewall means if we have created the rule here. Let's say this is a stateful firewall, stateless firewall. So as we discussed that we have inbound rules which will control the incoming traffic. We have outbound rules which controls the outbound traffic, the traffic which is going outside. For example, from my EC2 instance, if I'm trying to access the Google, it means the traffic is going outside. If somebody from the local computer is trying to access SSH of my EC2 instance, it means the traffic is coming inside. It is an inbound traffic. So stateless firewall, in the stateless firewall, we have to define the rule both of the sides. So which one will be very, very secure in this way? What do you think? Guys, stateless firewall will be secure very, or stateless firewall will be very, very secure?
Stateless.
Stateless.
Stateless firewall will be very, very secure because there is a two entry will be checkup will be there. Two entry will be checkup. One is for the incoming, one is for the outgoing, right? One is for the incoming, second is for the outgoing. In the stateful, only one time checkup will be happen, and the second entry will be automatically considered as it is already checked. So in the case of the stateless firewall, let's try to understand. Outbound rule, inbound rule, and outbound rule. So let me clean this one. So we are talking about the network access control list, NACL in short. Network access control list, right? So let's say this is a stateless firewall. So this is my cloud environment. This is a cloud environment. So in this cloud environment, we have two EC2 instance, one EC2 instance, let's say. This is one EC2 instance. So on the top of EC2 instance, there will be SG, security group. Security group. And the security group will also have inbound rule, outbound rule. And we have outbound rule. Guys, you think like that. There are two security gates are there, two security gates. So the clearance must be happen in both of the gates, like the airport, right? When you want to board inside a flight from any source to any destination, when you will go enter inside the airport, there will be the two security checks. The first security check, then the second security check. The second security check will be tough. So just like the same way, there are the two security checks. If both of the security checks will be complete, then you will be allowed to board inside the flight. If any one of the security check will be you will be fail, then you will not be board inside the flight. So easy to just feel like it is a flight. So there is a security group which is at the entry level of the EC2 instance. So security group always works on the EC2 instance level, and the network ACL works on the I'm writing here also, and ACL works on the subnet level. And SG, security group, works on the EC2 level. NACL is stateless. Security group is stateful. Okay. So now in the inbound rule, okay, first at the entry level, at the entrance of the EC2, there is a security group. Inside the security group, inbound port is also there, outbound port is also there. Outbound port rules we need to create. So let's say we have two servers. We have EC2 instance 1, we have EC2 instance 2. Let's do some change here. We will create two EC2 instances. First EC2 instance and second EC2 instance. Server 1 and this is server 2. Means EC2 instance 1 and the EC2 instance 2. These are the two EC2 instances. Okay. So, and I am using this laptop. This is my laptop. I am outside of the cloud in my physical environment. And there is one internet is running, right? There's one internet is running. And this is stateless firewall. So we are assuming this is NACL. CL and on subnet. On subnet, NACL on subnet. So in the security group, we have allowed, in the security group, we have allowed the SSH. Let's say this is a Linux server. And this is also a Linux server. So in the security group, I have allowed the SSH, but in the NACL, I have not allowed I have not yet allowed the SSH. So what will happen? The request is coming from here, from my computer. It will reach at the subnet level, and on the subnet level, network access control list will do the checking of the port rules. So here it will found as an inbound rule, the SSH is denied. The SSH is denied. One second, it's hanging, I think so. Yes, so SSH is denied. So what will happen due to the effect of the deny rule of the SSH on the subnet level on the NACL, the connection will be rejected. The connection will be drop out from here. The connection will be drop. The connection will be drop here, and the connection will not go through, and the connection will not reach at the security group level, because the first entry is at the first gate. The connection will be denied, because here it is the deny SSH rule. My point is getting clear, guys? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, right? Because at the entrance,
Yes.
the entry is not available for the SSH, because it is completely denied there. Because the deny is we applied on the inbound rule. So completely it will be denied. So there is no chance to reach at the SG level, the second security check, because at the first check post, the inbound traffic, incoming traffic is completely denied for the SSH. Let's say if SSH is allowed here, SSH is allowed here. And in the security group, SSH is entry rule is not available. Then when the incoming traffic is coming and trying to enter to make the connection with this Linux virtual machine or the Linux server, the first check will be cleared. The first check will be cleared, and let's say the first check will be cleared. Then in the inbound rule also I have done the entry. Allowed entry will be there. Then first clearance, first check will be cleared, then it will reach at the second security check. Then here it will find the SSH entry is not available. So from here, SSH incoming traffic will be drop out. Because the traffic is the first gate. From the first gate, the entry is cleared. You can go further. But when after clearing the first gate, when the incoming traffic will reach at the second gate of the security check, which is the security group, the traffic will be drop out because the entry, it will not be available there in the security group. So security group will tell, sorry, you are not allowed because your entry is not available in my register. So please correct the entry. Then I will give you the permission to go and connect with the Linux server EC2 instance. Clear, guys? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. So this is the way how we can do it, okay? And that's it. In the next lecture, on next Saturday, we'll do the lab of the NACL also. Okay? Yeah. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Thank you.
Welcome.